Happy New Comic Day, everybody, and welcome to another New Comic Day blast, fresh out the presses. And we're going to jump right into the comic news with some DC news because it's 2020. They've been in the news for anything and everything this year, and finally we got some great news. They have officially promoted Marie Javins to editor-in-chief. Previously, she'd been the co-interim, or is it interim co-editor-in-chief with Michelle Wells, I believe is the other person's name. Sorry if I got that wrong. But they'd been previously done that after DC, Warner, whoever it was, did those mass layoffs. Bob Harris, Andy Corey, a bunch of other people were laid off from DC Comics, and they brought in Marie Javins and Michelle Wells to be co-editor-in-chief. So now officially we got those, or she is officially the new editor-in-chief, and now with her, Daniel Cherry III, and of course Jim Lee will be kind of spearheading DC, heading DC as we go into 2021 and the future of whatever the hell DC Comics is going to be. So now you do have to remember, in January kicks off the 2-month event, Future State, which some people speculate is some kind of stories that were kind of pulled out of 5G or whatever 5G was supposed to be, if it even actually existed. It was never even fully announced, so it could be just a rumor. Jim Lee's probably tired of hearing about that shit. Everybody in DC is probably tired of hearing about it. But Future State supposed to kick off 2 months, and then after that, they go back to the regular publishing. So all the stories that were kind of put on hold for that time will continue off after that, and then we'll kind of see. So who knows what's going to happen with the future. I think this is a great move. I feel like she has a lot of goodwill with the community and other pros out there all congratulating her, so shout out to Marie Javins on the promotion, and we look forward to you kind of, guiding DC back into wherever it should be, where it should be as just a comic publishing stalwart. So shout out to you, and good on DC for making that move, and we just kind of look forward to seeing what's going on, because as I said, DC's been in the news all year for all kind of stuff with the distribution stuff, the layoffs, which absolutely suck. Marvel's just got hit with some, and people have to remember they aren't just standalone publishing houses. Like, they are both owned by big, massive media companies. Marvel with Disney, and then DC with AT&T or Warner. Honestly, the DC stuff is kind of confusing. So I was just thinking about the AT&T and then Warner. So I think Warner Brothers, and then Warner Brothers owns AT&T. I'm guessing. I'm not even 100% sure how that works, which one is bigger. But so people have to remember that. I feel like that's just an important detail, that this says everything has long been bought out and just owned by these massive entertainment, these media companies who are thinking about a lot of other things, and comics often tends to be on the lower end of their priorities. So they just kind of look at them as kind of what I said before, as a way just IP mining, just mining IPs for movies and just merchandise, all that cool stuff. But we're all still here. That's why we're all here, for comics. So just hoping to kind of see what comes out of this. And also, Marie Javins, hey, if you're looking for somebody to write a new Supergirl title, I'm available. Just hit me up. Have my people, call your people. We lunch. I don't have any people, but if you're looking for somebody to write Supergirl, hey, I'm available. I can do it. Kara, let's do it. So again, just congratulations to her, and yeah, hopefully this just kind of another good move, or a good move, some good news, some positive news for DC Comics in this wild ride of a year that's 2021 or 2020. That's not over yet. So just a little positivity there. So let's see what happens, DC Comics, and then as we go into Future State 2020, 2021, and see what the hell is going to happen in the future. Look forward to it. It could be fun. So then we jump into some recommendations, because a lot of cool books. Again, I feel like I say this a lot, but my pull list for this week is huge. There's so many cool books out this week that I want to try. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm trying to pare down the New Comic Day blast. So I'm kind of limiting the news stories and recommendations, and the hauls were always just occasional anyway. So with recommendations, let's jump right into Marvel Comics, because we have Taskmaster #1. Yes, it's finally here after crazy delays. This one along with Black Widow, because obviously he was going to be in the Black Widow movie as well. And both of they're supposed to have titles. Black Widow ongoing, Taskmaster a 5-issue miniseries. It got delayed because of the Black Widow movie, which eventually got delayed until 2021. But now it's like, all right, you know what? They had to finally push those titles out at some point. So Black Widow has already been out. Now we have Taskmaster #1, and this is kind of cool because I like Taskmaster. So finally happy to finally see him back in the major role in comics. So let's jump right in. We got Jed MacKay, Alessandro Vitti, and then the cover by Valerio Giordano. Taskmaster has murdered Maria Hill. I can't believe it. Honestly, he could probably do that shit. Or at least that's what the world thinks. Now the greatest spies in the business are hunting him down and won't stop until Taskmaster is dead or clears his own name. Follow Jed MacKay and Alessandro Vitti on a globe-spanning adventure that will send ripples through every corner of the Marvel Universe's espionage community. I did that because Taskmaster is cool, but then you kind of bring out the spies from the Marvel Universe. So all these intelligence agencies. So what is that going to mean? Again, it is just 5-issue miniseries. Finally here after several months. I pre-ordered this months ago. Finally gonna have it in hand whenever my next order comes in. So, but I think other part of this, which I honestly didn't remember from the solicitation, but just the premise of it, and then what this could mean for potentially new characters, or just kind of bringing out maybe some other agencies that haven't been used quite as readily, because we're so used to seeing S.H.I.E.L.D. and AIM. I wouldn't really consider, obviously it's not a intelligence like organization, but they're an organization that always has a hand in stuff besides S.H.I.E.L.D. So looking at like Hydra as well, but there are so many spies in the Marvel Universe, so who knows who else is gonna pop up. I'm looking forward to it. This is gonna be fun. Taskmaster didn't do something for once, so now it's like, oh, he's innocent. He's on the innocent side, but what's innocent with the Taskmaster? He's just not that kind of dude. But so looking forward to seeing that. Then we jump over to AWA, Artists, Writers, and Artisans, for another spy book, American Ronin #2. Now, I talked about this one when this one dropped, and even like just from the beginning, like just the title is a title that has Ronin in it. I'm interested. The premise was dope, and I picked it up, and it was just a fantastic read. Exactly what you want from a debut issue. Only sucks is I think it's only it's just a mini series, but it was dope. Like a great, exactly what you want from a debut issue. Strong, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm all in. And issue #2 is here. So let's jump right in with War is Over. Democracy is an illusion. Real power now lies not with nation states, but huge corporations engaged in a silent war for global domination. Their #1 weapon, highly skilled, technologically enhanced operatives trained since childhood to pledge their allegiance to the corporate flag. But what happens when one such operative breaks free of his mental chains and decides to bring the whole system down? Can one Ronin make a difference? Absolutely. And he already has. I'm telling you, like, go pick up the first issue. Absolutely dope. And this company had AWA along with Upshot. I don't even know how that partnership works, but AWA has a couple titles under their belt that sound good. They're getting a lot of a lot of press from fans and other creatives. So like people are digging this, and like just their body of work so far. And American Ronin is an absolute hit. I'm digging it. So strong recommendation from GENOTHADRAGON, American Ronin. So now #2 is out. So go pick this up. Definitely just go look into it at least. American Ronin #2 from AWA, which again stands for Artists, Writers, and Artisans. And then over to Aftershock, because here is Miskatonic #1. I talked about this one when I think it was announced because I know I had pre-ordered it, and I must have talked about it sometime after that. But here it is. The only thing I will start out that it is a $4.99 debut issue, which can turn some people off, especially for a new book. Don't know what to expect, but I dig it. I like the premise enough to pre-order it. So I want to tell you about it a little more, because I think I kind of went into it, but here's what the full synopsis is. Miskatonic Valley holds many mysteries. Cultists worshipping old gods, a doctor dead set on resurrecting the recently deceased, a house overrun by rats in the walls, but none more recent than a series of bombings targeting the valley's elite. These horrors reach a breaking point when the brilliant, hard-nosed investigator Miranda Keller is sent to stop the bombings. To J. Edgar Hoover, there can be no other explanation than those responsible for similar actions during the Red Scare of the 1920s. But when Miranda digs too deep, she uncovers an unimaginable occult conspiracy, one that may cost Miranda her job and her sanity. From writer Mark Sable and artist Giorgio Pontrelli, Miskatonic is a mix of historical crime fiction and Lovecraftian horror that dives deep into the American nightmares. So, one way that I can illustrate what I think of this is lines from Ghostbusters and Bad Boys 2, where like kind of like see something like, you know what, I'm all in, let's do it. That's kind of what they kind of said in Ghostbusters right at the end. And in Bad Boys 2, there was a line, one of my favorite lines is, you look like you're about to do something stupid, we want in, or I'm in. And that's kind of my similar take with comics. You kind of read, when you read a weird ass premise, like synopsis for a book, a series, even like a title, whatever, and it's like, you know what, it sounds like you're about to do some weird shit, I want to read it, so I'm all in. That's kind of what Miskatonic did for me when I read this originally. I was like, you know what, there's gonna be some weird wild shit, so you know what, I'm gonna read it, I want to. So that's why I pre-ordered it. So it's finally gonna be out this week, and it's something I want to put in your minds. Again, another title from Aftershock, a fantastic, one of my favorite indie publishers out there doing dope stuff. I'm still waiting for Trustfall. Where the hell is Trustfall? Like, there was the first issue, which was another cool ass story, and then there was just the first issue, and then it never popped up. But anyways, back to Miskatonic. Miskatonic #1, Aftershock Comics. Go look into this. Like, it just sounds wild and like unbelievably imaginative. So a strong recommendation, and hopefully it's a good read when I get my hands on it. And I'll probably talk about it again after I read it. So Miskatonic #1, Aftershock Comics. Then we go back to Marvel, where we began, for a granddaddy of a book. Here is Uncanny XMen Omnibus Volume 2. That's right, a new printing of the Omnibus series. I have X-Men Volume 1, and then Uncanny XMen Volume 1, which kicks off with Giant Size X-Men. So now we have Uncanny XMen Volume 2, which kicks off after that one ends at 131. So now we've got 132. So Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, and John Byrne took a little reprint series called X-Men and turned it into the all-new, all-different Titan that conquered comicdom. Now you can experience the thrills and excitement of their classic tales, from the Dark Phoenix saga to Days of Future Past, and so much more in this enormous omnibus, including the debuts of X-Universe mainstays Emma Frost and Kitty Pryde, the threat of Mystique's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, Magneto's return, Wolverine's first solo story, and a rare Savage Land adventure, plus the original ending of Dark Phoenix, and a host of bonus stories, collecting X-Men 132 through 141, and then Uncanny X-Men, which is when the title switched over, 142 to 153, X-Men Annual #4 and 5, Avengers Annual #10, Marvel Treasury Edition 26 to 27, Bizarre Adventures #27, Phoenix The Untold Story, and material from Marvel Fanfare 1 through 4, and Marvel Team Up #100. Yes, we got two covers here. The original cover by John Byrne, and then a newer cover by Stuart Immonen, which both look fantastic. Always for the omnibus that I have, omnibuy, I guess. I don't even know, what is the plural? Omnibuses, omnibuy, that I have on my collection, on my shelf, are all, I always prefer the original art for those, but I really dig Stuart Immonen's art on this one. And even on some of the other ones, I think Alex Ross did some variants for a couple other omnibus, but Stuart Immonen is like, I don't know, something about it just really sticks out. I like his modern touch on it. I mean, it's still like the old school look, but just his modern like style of working on it looks cool. So I'm looking at him like, and I want this book. I'm like, oh, which cover do I get? They both look cool. Probably end up going with the original one, but I just had to throw this one in my recommendations because it's like a new omnibus featuring like all those original X-Men stories, and just from that time, again, like that was just huge. As it, like just from, as I mentioned from the synopsis, like what they did for the X-Men, like reinventing them after the title was really almost about to get canceled. I mean, really, I guess it kind of did because it just went into reprints. So what they did, turning that around from Giant Size and then on, and just the wild stuff that kind of set X-Men forward and kind of propelled them to, I don't even, like, just the the height of superhero comics back then was fantastic, and like that could never be downplayed. Like their contributions and just what they did for those characters, the teams, the stories, and just comics in general. So had to shout that, obviously, of course. So Uncanny X-Men Volume 2 Omnibus, yeah, we all should just have that on our collection. Nice, it means some good reading material and a nice addition to our bookshelves. So that's gonna wrap it up for this new Comic Day Blast for November 11th, 2020, and this wild year as we kind of edge closer and closer to the end of it and step into 2020. But this year's not over. Plenty of cool comics on the way. A lot of stuff going on, obviously, always. So, as always, let me know what you picked up, what you're looking forward to, if you've already picked your stuff up. If you haven't picked your books up yet, what else are you looking at? What are you eyeing? Any cool stuff? Maybe you're looking to check out some books. Always curious to see what you're all going to pick up. If you have, like, especially for new stuff that you haven't read before, always share that stuff in the comments below. It's comics. Let's have some fun. Let's do it. Share it all. And yeah, as always, happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. This is GENOTHADRAGON. Thanks for watching, and peace out.